Hey guys, we are back with some more Kingston Frontenacs franchise mode in Eastside Hockey Manager. And we are at the preseason of year number 5. And you take a look here. Buffalo has offered a contract to Connor Lockhart. So he might be headed to the NHL soon. Meaning we're going to be losing our captain. And hopefully Stanley MacArthur and Kevin Rye can replace his scoring if he ends up staying in Buffalo. And Lockhart, of course, has been invited to Buffalo's camp. MacArthur has been invited to Chicago's. Pelletier has been invited to Edmonton's camp. Anderson has been invited to Minnesota's. And Vaughn has been invited to Montreal's camp. So, unfortunately, we are going to have to release Ryan Dugas and Denis Golovachev because they have the red overage icon over them, meaning they are too old to play for us now. As we can keep Wisdom, we can keep Marino, because they're considered just overage, but Dugas and Golovachev are overage to the point where it's illegal for them to play in the league. So, Dugas, you've done us well, buddy, but we have to release you. I'm sorry. We can't keep you anymore. Go find some new work. I wish you the best. And, obviously, the same for Denis Golovachev, who has been a solid scorer for us. 28 goals last year, 39 the year before. And even when we were bad, he was pretty good. 710 average rating in year number 2, 681 in year number 1. So he was an instrumental part of those Memorial Cup runs. Same for Ryan Dugas, but we have to release him now. So that's painful. But now that means Dean Taylor is our, for sure, number 1 goaltender. So he's going to have to get in there. So with a bunch of players in training camps at the moment, and with having to release Golovachev and Dugas, our roster is kind of all over the place. We only have 11 forwards at the moment, and we have Boyd and McNeil in there, who we signed over the offseason, and we have Prefontaine as well in there, who we again signed in the offseason. And the OHL season preview. Where are we? We are, of course... Are we at the bottom? We're at the bottom. This doesn't make sense. We've been the Memorial Cup champions 2 years in a row, and we're ranked 18th. Okay. MVP Hogan Glover, Kier Rivals, Zayd Wisdom. Okay, first of all, Hogan Glover, he's a good player, but he's not our MVP. I'd say more of Stanley MacArthur or Connor Lockhart, should he come back, or Robbie Nussbaumer even. OHL top goalies. Pat Turner of Mississauga is number 1. Eamon Hadukovic of Ottawa, number 2. Layden St. Pierre of Barrie. And then Drayton Audette of Barrie as well. So they have 2 top goalies there in Barrie. Etienne Valois of Guelph. Anika Bibic of Kitchener. Cam Marino of Hamilton. Mikhail Wilkins of Owen Sound. Jan McKeska of London. And Colton LaRose of Mississauga. So Mississauga as well also has 2 top 10 goaltenders. Top defenseman, Andre Hamill of Flint. Corey Krug of Peterborough. Gregor Fitzgerald of Windsor. Emmett Schluting of Barrie. Peter Briggs of North Bay. Tristan Gordon of Ottawa. Scott Woods of Kitchener. Daniil Chayka of Guelph. Benoit Blanchard of Mississauga. And Eric Anderson of your Kingston Frontenacs. Top left wingers, Rocco St. Jacques of Barrie, Murray Subban of Owen Sound, Clayton Brand of Hamilton, Keelan Redenbach of Guelph, Blake Belanger of Sarnia, William Shank of Flint, Timothy Kowalski of Erie, Gary Spence of London, Jordan Flynn of Erie, and Jordan Friesen of Hamilton. Top centers, Miles Sirios of Guelph, Nathan Bukaboom of Hamilton, Shane Wright of Guelph, Carter Krayovich of Sault Ste. Marie, Bernie Pansell of Flint, Gordon Legere of Niagara, Brandon Kirkup of Kitchener, Kyle Jackson of North Bay, Rylan Christie of Oshawa, and Jared Gardner of North Bay. Top right wingers, Deron Merkley of Niagara, Austin Gillies of Sault Ste. Marie, Connor Lockhart of your Kingston Frontenacs, Luke Evangelista of London, Tad Nichols of Kitchener, Jordan Novikowski of Flint, Henry Neal of Peterborough, Dalen McKinnon of North Bay, Nick Perry of Oshawa, and Real Grabavich of Saginaw. Jeez, these names. Top prospects, Nathan Bukaboom of Hamilton, Corey Krug of Peterborough, Andre Hamel of Flint, Carmelo LePage of Guelph, Carter Krajovich of Sault Ste. Marie, Pat Turner of Mississauga, Layden St. Pierre of Barrie, Matthew Jeffrey Hamilton of Peterborough, be funny if he was on Hamilton, Lucas Lockwood of Niagara, and Brendan Lutz of Guelph. Okay, I'm jumping in mid-simulation here, because in 3 games, Connor Lockhart has 9 points and has an average rating of 10. Dude, Connor, accept that offer from Buffalo, man. I know you want to. I want the best for you. Just go to Buffalo already. Go to the NHL. You're so ready. Look at this dude. 7 goals in 3 games and a 10 average rating. And Gus Hall has been ranked by the scouting services, and he has made it into 98th place for the upcoming draft. Alright, so it looks like he's the only ranked one right now, but that may change as the season goes on. So we have finished the start of the season. We are currently at the end of October, and we are 10-3-0-1 in our first 14 games. As we take a look at our schedule, and to start out the regular season, we have 5-3 win against the Peterborough Peats. Goes by Lockhart, McCulloch, Lockhart with the hat trick, and then MacArthur. And game number 2 against the Oshawa Generals, 6-4 win. Goes by Rye, Lockhart, Anderson, Lockhart, MacArthur, and Lockhart with another hat trick into the empty netter with a second remaining. So 6 goals in the first 2 games for Connor Lockhart, who still has not signed that NHL contract. It's been well over a month now, so I'm getting a bit concerned. A 10-8 win against the Peterborough Peats goes by Lockhart, Vaughn, McCulloch, Nussbaumer, Barrie, Anderson, Derelick, Prefontaine, Lapointe, and Anderson for the 10-8 win. And a 4-1 win against the Sarnia Sting goes by McCulloch, Hall, Lockhart, and Rye. 5-2 loss against Windsor goes by Lapointe and Prefontaine. A 6-3 win against the Gulf Storm with goals by Nussbaumer, MacArthur, Lockhart, Hall, and Vaughn. 6-5 shootout win against the Windsor Spitfires. Goals by Barrie, MacArthur, Lockhart, Nussbaumer, and MacArthur, and the shootout goal by Nussbaumer. A 7-2 win against Owen Sound. Goals by Prefontaine, MacArthur, Lockhart, Barrie, McCulloch, Hall, and Nussbaumer. And a 5-3 win against Peterborough. Goals by MacArthur, Barrie, Derelick, MacArthur, and Derelick. 4-3 loss against Barrie. Goals by Derelick, Boyd, and McCulloch. 6-3 win against Hamilton. Goals by Prefontaine, Barrie, Rye, Hall, and Spencer. 5-2 loss against Ottawa. Goals by Lapointe and Prefontaine. A 5-2 win against Ottawa. Goals by Morissette, Lockhart, Spencer, Barrie, and Lockhart again. And the final game of the month is a shootout loss to Saginaw, 4-3. We come back after being down 3-0. Goals by MacArthur, Lapointe, and MacArthur again, but no goals in the shootout. And that'll do it for the start of the season. Let's check out the stats. Goaltenders, Taylor with an .871 save percentage and an .823 for Paquette. A .658 average rating for Dean Taylor and a .567 for Ryan Paquette. That is not good. Defensively, point-wise, Eric Anderson has 14-14. He has been solid so far. Jacques McNeil with 7. Nolet, Rosen, and Spencer all with 4. Glover and Pelletier with 3. And Paul and Boyd with 2. Average ratings, 771 for Eric Anderson, 733 for Torrey Spencer, 707 for Jacques McNeil, 667 for Glover, 657 for Pelletier, 614 for Boyd, 613 for Rosen, and a 588 for Nolet. Forward-wise, Lockhart with 19, Nussbaum with 19, McCulloch with 16, Lapointe and MacArthur with 15, Hall with 12, Vaughn with 11, Barrie and Prefontaine with 10, Derelick with 9, Rye with 7, Morissette with 6. So you can see where the majority of our success comes from, and that would be from our offense. Average ratings, Lockhart with an 807, Nussbaumer with a 786, Barrie with a 764, Lapointe with a 757, MacArthur with a 736, Hall and Prefontaine with a 721, Vaughn with a 715, Morissette 707, Rye 7, and then Derelick and McCulloch 686. So all of our forwards are pretty good in the average rating department. The OHL Player of the Month is Oshawa's Devon Gillard, and the Rookie of the Month is Windsor's Giancarlo Bow. And we are now done with November, and the OHL Player of the Month is North Bay's Braden Adam, and the Rookie of the Month is Flint's Shaven Kennedy. And after November, we are 15-7-1, 31 points on the season so far. Pretty safe to say that we should be in a playoff spot, but it is a pretty close race in the Eastern Conference, as Barry, who is in 9th, has 25 points. So it's a pretty close race in the East. We have to make sure we keep winning. And I don't think that'll be a problem with this team, given that we have won the past 2 championships in a row. So let's review the previous month of games. We had a win against Sault Ste. Marie in overtime, 3-2. Goals by Morissette, Prefontaine, and MacArthur. And then a week later, we had a 4-0 win against the Erie Otters. Goals by Spencer, Vaughn, McCulloch, and Nussbaumer. A 6-4 win against the Niagara Ice Dogs. Goals by Rye, Nussbaumer, Vaughn, McCulloch, MacArthur, and Hall. A 3-2 loss against the Ottawa 67s. Goals by MacArthur and Morissette. And then a 5-4 win against the Ottawa 67s. Goals by MacArthur, Nussbaumer, Prefontaine, Lockhart, and Hall. And a 5-2 loss against the Niagara Ice Dogs, both goals by Lockhart. And then we had a 5-4 loss against North Bay, goals by McCulloch, Lockhart, and McNeil. A 6-3 win versus Saginaw, goals by Hall, MacArthur, Barry, Glover, Nussbaumer, and Morissette. And then a 4-2 loss against Peterborough, goals by MacArthur and Lockhart to end off the month. Dean Taylor with an .868 save percentage and Ryan Paquette with an .850. Average ratings, 648 for Taylor and a 625 for Ryan Paquette. Defensively, Eric Anderson with 17 points, McNeil and Spencer with 11, Glover with 6, Nolet, Pelletier, and Rosenall with 4, Boyd with 3. Average ratings, Anderson with a 752, Spencer with a 733, McNeil with a 717, Glover with a 680, Pelletier with a 648, Rosen with a 613, Boyd with a 609, and Nolet with a 588. Forwards, Connor Lockhart with 30 points, Nussbaumer with 28, McCulloch with 25, MacArthur with 24, Hall with 22, Lapointe with 18, Vaughn with 15, Prefontaine with 14, Barry with 13, Derelict with 12, Morissette with 11, Rye with 8, Beaudry with 2. Average ratings, Lockhart at an 809, Nussbaumer at an 8, Lapointe with a 747, Barry with a 739, Hall with a 736, MacArthur with a 730, Morissette and Prefontaine with a 709, McCulloch and Vaughn with a 7, Rye with a 677, Derelict with a 674, and Beaudry with the 650. And there it is. Billy Constantino has agreed to terms with the Washington Capitals. So the team that originally drafted him, and then I believe released him because I don't see that they don't have his rights. They definitely do not have his rights. So they let him play in Europe, and now I guess he's going back to North America, going back to where he got drafted. And that is the end of December. So the OHL Player of the Month for December is Windsor's Giancarlo Bow, and the Rookie of the Month is also Giancarlo Bow. Standings update, we're still in second in our conference, 49 points. Mississauga is in front of us with 53, but we seem to be pulling away from the teams that are outside of the playoffs, which is Hamilton with 35 points, Oshawa, Ottawa, even Barrie. They're all kind of out of reach now at this point as long as we keep winning, which we're on a pretty good pace right now. We're 23-9-3, so I don't really see any concern with this team. So let's review the previous month of games. We had a 4-3 victory over Hamilton. Goals by Lockhart, Beaudry, Morissette, and MacArthur. And then we had a 10-2 win over Hamilton. Goals by Barry, McCulloch, Hall, Nussbaumer, Lapointe, Nussbaumer, Derelict, Anderson, Lockhart, and MacArthur. And a 7-2 victory over Sarnia. Goals by Anderson, MacArthur, Lockhart, Vaughn, Glover, Beaudry, and Vaughn. A 5-3 victory over Oshawa. Goals by Derelict, Hall, Vaughn, and Lockhart. 8-1 loss against Mississauga. Only goal for us by Eric Anderson. And that was a rough loss there. A 5-4 shootout loss against Ottawa goes by Nussbaumer, Lapointe, and Lockhart. Goes in the shootout by Vaughn and Nussbaumer, but they got one more goal in the shootout than we did. A 5-2 victory against Sudbury goes by Lapointe, Morissette, Prefontaine, and MacArthur. A 7-4 victory against Sudbury once again goes by Rye, Lapointe, Morissette, Lockhart, and Glover. An 8-4 victory against the Peterborough Peats goes by Anderson, Lockhart, Derelict, Morissette, Lapointe, Barry, and Morissette once again. And then after the break, we had a 4-3 shootout loss against the Peterborough Peats. Goes by Nussbaumer, Spencer, and Hall. And then in the shootout, we had goes by Vaughn and Lapointe. A 4-2 victory over London goes by Nussbaumer, Rye, and Rye. And then a 4-3 loss against Oshawa goes by Pelletier, McCulloch, and Lapointe. So now let's take a look at the stats. Goaltenders, Dean Taylor with an 865. Ryan Paquette still with that 850, but in 10 games played. Before, I believe he only had 4. So he got in there for a few games this month. Taylor with the 645 average rating, and Paquette with the 620. Defenseman, Eric Anderson with 26 points. Torrey Spencer with 23. McNeil with 20. Boyd with 10. Glover with 9. Pelletier with 7. Nolet and Rosen with 4. Average ratings, a 769 for Eric Anderson, a 744 for Spencer, a 737 for McNeil, a 675 for Glover, a 637 for Pelletier, a 631 for Boyd, a 613 for Rosen, and a 588 for Nolet. Forwards, Connor Lockhart with 44 points, Nussbaum with 39, McCulloch with 37, Lapointe with 35, MacArthur with 33, Vaughn with 31, Hall with 29, Derelict with 24, Morissette and Prefontaine with 19, Rye with 17, Barry with 16, and Beaudry with 4. Average ratings, Connor Lockhart with an 822, Nussbaumer with a 797, Lapointe with a 761, MacArthur with a 738, Hall with a 732, Barry with a 726, Vaughn with a 715, Prefontaine with a 714, Morissette with a 706, McCulloch with a 703, Rye with a 7, Derelict with a 694, and Beaudry with a 660. So that'll about do it for this one. I want to end it off here. We're at a good stopping point. And in the next one, we'll finish off the rest of the Year 5 regular season, and we'll make our way into the playoffs. So with that, I'll see you guys in the next one.